Take me to another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land. Magical, magical land. To another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land. Today's guest is studying international business communication, is a young entrepreneur and a co-founder of the XYZ Playground. Please welcome to the show, Debora Labusch. Tell us a bit about yourself. What's your story?
My story is probably that after graduating from high school, I went to Tanzania for 1 year to work for the Tanzanian Red Cross Society. And this year really did a lot. I experienced, this completely foreign culture. I was on my own. I had to deal with a lot of, adjusting myself and also kind of measuring my own cultural borders, how far can I adapt? There's a point where I say like, no. And how far can I maybe push like initial no's into a like, maybe. And then I realized I put a lot of effort into learning Swahili. And I realized that was a total game changer. So I just bonded with people so deeply. I made the nicest, deepest connections. And it just gave me a whole different access to the country and the culture. And, language also carries a lot of way that we have an understanding of ourselves and of others.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And so when I came back from Tanzania after a year, first of all, I was not ready to go back to Germany at all. Like
I don't get that.
Yeah. I was on the flight just angry. And so I had decided during my stay in Tanzania that I wanted to further explore other languages, to get this access to other cultures that I could get through learning Swahili. And I decided to study Mandarin. And
that's tough.
That was tough, especially because it started 2 weeks after I was back. So for the first 1.5 years of studying Mandarin, I was still in a crazy culture shock from being back from Tanzania. And so it was difficult also to really dedicate yourself to this again new language. But I think it was really super interesting. I had the chance to study in China for half a year, to experience the culture, and it was really, really cool to notice how curious people are, and how easy it is to connect once you get over yourself and actually dare to speak the language. And I think that cultures are a really, really important thing that are often overlooked in our daily life, which is a shame, really, because our world is increasingly globalizing. So I think that it's really crucial to deal with culture and to educate yourself a bit about culture, about your own perspective on things, and how that might be based on your cultural norms and values, and how other people's thinking might be based on their cultural norms and values, and that we maybe just have to be a little more tolerant with each other. And Yeah. Also, even though you know it once, it's not something that just stays there. You have to keep on reminding yourself of it, especially in like situations of conflict or misunderstanding. So that was really a really interesting time for me, to get this access to different cultures and to realize how limited one's own thinking really is in terms of cultural ethnocentrism. And I think those are like main topics that are really interesting for me, and that I got to experience, and that have really contributed a lot to how I think and act.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% see the same. Like when I was moving to Russia, I really did a lot of effort to learn the language, and it was far away from being good. But just learning a little bit of the language helps you to understand the culture in a different way, and that people are reacting in different ways.
Yes.
So you have way deeper connection than others who are just staying in the English world and so on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what brought you to Tanzania? You just didn't jump into an airplane and landing in Tanzania, I guess.
No. So during high school, my two sisters decided that they wanted to spend a year abroad, and they both decided to go to the US to have a high school year in the US, and that was cool. And they've had their experience, and I thought, like, yeah, I also want to go abroad, but I thought I wanted to go somewhere a little more exotic. And I applied for different different programs where you could go to a country in Africa or South America for a year, and the Red Cross was interested in me. And so they had different projects in Africa in 4 different countries. So they had Tanzania, Uganda, Namibia, and South Africa. And I looked at the projects, and I decided that Tanzania was the best fit for me, where I could experience most, but not on a really extreme level. For example, the projects offered in South Africa, by that time we wouldn't have had access to electricity or running water. I was like, oh, might be a little extreme. I'm not sure I'm up for that. So I wanted exotic, but maybe not that exotic. So after thinking through the different projects and also living conditions, Tanzania it was.
Yeah, cool. So then you said you spent half year in China. Where did you spend your time?
I spent it in Beijing. I studied at the Beijing University as an exchange student, and I am so happy that I was in Beijing. I think it's such a cool city. I think that it has so much to offer. It's modern. It's also, it has a lot of history, and I think there's a lot of culture, and I think it's an amazing city. Yeah.
Then if I understood you right, you're studying international business communication.
That's true. Yeah.
How does this help you? It's like your experience alone is already like huge wealth of knowledge and worth it. But how do you connect this to a business context now?
So businesses are interacting, and also on a multinational level. I really value about my program now, that I am able to kind of theorize the things that I observed and experienced to, get this backdrop of, that's why. And then I think that most of the interactions I had were like private or friendship-based interactions. That also, that taught me a lot, but in a different sense. So I think it's really interesting to see also how things from a business perspective work, and what you have to consider when you want to do business with organizations or individuals from other countries.
Yeah. Moving from your story towards entrepreneurship, so how do you see the world as a young entrepreneur who is kind of venturing in that direction while studying?
Yeah, good question. So I think that our world we're really at a point right now also, when looking at Corona crisis, that we have to reshape our thinking. I think that a lot of processes in our society are based on capitalism only and profit only. And I think that is a not very sustainable concept. I think that you have this, I'm 24. I have this, world ahead of me that is not going to work like this forever. We're ruining ourselves. So I think that we need to adjust our thinking a little and have a bit of a shift in mindset on how we do business, how we consume, and how we set priorities.
How do you use then your knowledge of the international spheres, and as well like the experience you have had in China and Tanzania in this?
So I think that if you want to reach something, something on a global scale, right? You need to connect with other countries, and you need to connect with people from other countries. And I think that is where my experience comes in handy, and also my knowledge of language. As you said, when you know a language, even if it's not perfect, people will be so happy that you're trying. And it's way easier to get a connection to someone, right? So I think that it helps me to, to kind of think in a more global way, and to also have some sort of idea of other cultures and potential reactions, or to potential ways we could engage with other cultures and countries.
Yeah. And it's quite funny because I always talk about the language of business, and how business can change the world, and through business we change the world.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting when you see that as well. If you call it language, that it works in the same direction.
Yeah.
So then you're part of this initiative, or even business, which is called XYZ Playground. What does it mean to you?
So to me, the XYZ Playground is a really, really cool space that helps me personally to grow and to gain experience on how different processes work. Also to be able to apply some of my university knowledge like into practice, that is really extremely exciting, to be able to look at, communication processes and how our own little diverse group of people from a lot of different cultures, how we act and think, and how we can, align ourselves with each other. I think that it's really a great project, because I think that, as I said, we can't continue what we do now forever. So we need to innovate our system. And I think that innovation is the key to human survival, because if you don't innovate, you're not going to get anywhere. Yeah. So I think it really gives me some sort of hope for the future, so that we can, stay innovative, try to inspire innovation and innovation communication in organizations across the globe, and, have this young mindset of people who all have, I think, something to say. And I think that's really, really, really cool. So if we take XYZ playground, how do you describe that to someone else? Like people might think like, what the heck is that? So I'd say it's a millennial-led business that wants to inspire a shift of mindset in organizations. And the goal is that we, through communication and through getting in touch with executives from our young person's perspective, that we can perhaps, hopefully, get some of those executives to reinvent perhaps some processes to, perhaps help them to apply innovation and apply it in a way that is sustainable and that is doable within an organization, so that change can be really challenging for an organization, because you cannot stand still, but you also don't want to overly stress out your employees, and you need to find a way how to apply innovation and implement changes in your organization that have a transition from the old to the new system that is as smooth as possible. And I think that is also something that we can look at together. And I think that it's a really cool group of young people who have a lot of thought on sustainable processes, how to reinvent our system of consume. And yes, I think that is what basically our punchline is. What can leaders of today learn from leaders of tomorrow? So we're also having this generational exchange, and it's really meant to be an exchange. So it's like a relationship that continues over time, and where we share our insights, and we also get insights from executives that just by hearing about their situation and the issues that they're dealing with, that we can consider and in our young minds to get to a sustainable solution together.
How do you explain like what you're doing to your fellow students? Like, hey, there are a couple of dudes who are doing fun stuff, or
right. So what I said was basically, okay, I need to tell you something. Don't be mean. And then I was like, okay, so I'm in this group of people, and we're founding a business. And most of them were like, what? You know nothing. What are you doing, funding a business? And then I went on explaining that it's initiated by you, and that we're a group of a lot of young minds from all over the world who want to make a change, and to think that the way it is now, it is not very sustainable. And that we want to kind of provoke some sort of mindset shift, really. And of course there were many questions about, what do you mean, how do you want to do that? And I said that well, we were offering kind of ways to connect with each other, and our thoughts, basically our thoughts and our time, and to be able to also get people out of their bubble of thoughts, because we all have that. We have our routines, we have our ways of always doing something a certain way. And I think it's valuable to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're an executive or just a private person needing a friend's advice on a certain problem or a question. I think if you listen to others and try to understand their thinking, you can broaden your mind.
Then before we started recording, you mentioned that you're now back in Germany for Christmas break. You're living in the Netherlands, for those who don't know. So what did you tell your parents? Like, I can imagine it's like you haven't. That's awesome. Okay, we need to do a second round where you explain that.
I haven't.
That's a Christmas present. Hey, by the way, I'm founding a business with a couple of dudes from across the world.
Yeah, that I've never met in person, but
yeah.
No, I haven't told them yet, because I think that so I told my little sister, and she's really happy and she's proud. But I think that my parents would be, first of all, a little worried and ask a couple of questions that I might not be able to answer yet. So, because we're still in a phase of, beta testing and experimenting. So I think they would be extremely unsatisfied with my answers. And I'm going to present them something as soon as we have something that is a little more tested and advanced. And I feel like I can answer their questions.
It's quite funny. That's also a little bit a cultural thing.
Yeah,
because German parents are slightly different than others.
Yeah,
so similar but different.
Yeah, parents are always parents, I guess. But I decided that right now is not the perfect moment to share.
Well, maybe you should record that on video just for our group to see afterwards the reaction.
Yeah, maybe I can ask my sister or something to be like, I founded a business.
So let's move little bit out of the private sphere back into business. Where do you think the XYZ playground will morph toward? Where will it be in a year from now, in 2 years from now? What could it be from your imagination?
From my imagination, it could be a place where, you know, people can exchange ideas freely, where you have, you know, the chance to experiment with ideas, where you can kind of try to, you know, apply some innovative structures or discuss them through, and where you still don't have like the risk you have when you just go and apply it to your organization. I think that it in my imagination, it's a place where, you know, where it's a kind place of interaction with of people with the will to innovate and to make a change. And yeah, I think that's yeah.
How do you see, like, innovation? What is innovation from your perspective?
From my perspective,
we're not cutting that out.
Oh yes. Perspective. It's the only way we can continue, because if we just keep things as they are, for example, climate goals like will be just in the trash. Like you can just forget about that. You can forget about anything really. So our world is going to heat up so quickly that I don't think it would be, you know, for me reasonable to really have a family and have children in like more, I don't know, 10, 15 years. I don't think that would be a responsible idea. I think that because we're destroying ourselves so quickly that I think that innovation is the one thing that you know, gives us hope. I think that we've always had challenges across history and really difficult times, every country in their own way. But somehow, you know, through innovation, a lot of crises could be managed. And yeah, I think also what we see right now is that, you know, the corona pandemic, it's a virus that comes from an animal. And if we keep on destroying animals' habitats, they will move closer to humans, and pandemics will occur more often because, you know, the animals don't have the space to live anymore. Obviously, they're going to get closer to us, and there's always going to be some sort of virus that manages to just jump to humans. And you know, things are connected. It's not all isolated from each other. So I think that innovation is our way to get ourselves out of this mess.
How do you think combining innovation with your background of international business communication?
So I think that, you know, I'm preliminary interested in internal communication. And something that I find really, really interesting is change communication, which is exactly this process of looking at how do I implement the change into my organization without freaking out my staff. So this is, kind of my sweet spot where I can have my communication. I can also, when working in an MNC or somewhere abroad, I can apply my knowledge of, managing communication within a company and managing it on a culturally appropriate level. And also, kind of helping innovation and change to be applicable in organizations.
That's cool. So if you would have the chance to do a project with communication, which is something everyone in the whole world would touch or would experience or would like be part of, what would it be?
I think that if it's something that everybody would touch, I think it should be something, first of all, basic, that starts at a very basic level of mutual understanding, which is something like ethnocentrism, which means I am from Germany and I am aware that my actions and my way of thinking and my way of communicating is largely based on how, where, and how I was raised. While I also see that other people, maybe from Tanzania or China, and their backgrounds of growing up, of culture, of norms and values, and being raised may differ greatly from mine. And that thus, our ways of thinking and acting may not be just weird or something, but they might just be natural based on how we grew up and, acting from our own culture. So I think this is really something that I would love for everybody to know and for everybody to kind of keep at heart, so that there can be a bit more tolerance and understanding.
You would be a perfect candidate for my blog, which I haven't done
Really?
the last years, which is called Our Worldviews.
Cool.
Which is exactly about that.
Cool.
Maybe we need to discuss that after the recording. So going towards you, where do you think you will be in a year from now?
That's a really difficult question, because I will, if everything goes well, this summer I will finish my master degree. So I will hopefully have a job in a year from now, and I want to be in an environment. It's a little difficult, of course, for me to say like where I'm going to end up or something, but I would love to be in an environment of, good communication, where, of colleagues, you don't have to be perfect friends with everybody. But I think as long as you manage to communicate with each other, that's so valuable. I want to be in an environment where I have the chance to thrive, to develop myself, to learn, and where people, will trust in my abilities, and where I can get experience, and I think that will be amazing.
From an international, I mean, you're similar to myself, an international thinker. So you're of course German from a heritage, but you're not really thinking like a German anymore, or it's kind of, it's still there but not.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, I'm back in Germany since August, and it's now December, and I still haven't arrived. After 6 years living outside of Germany and almost 15 years traveling around the world in total. So where do you see from that perspective next year?
So I'm not tied to Germany. I would love to be abroad, to have the chance to experience cultures. However, there is this phenomenon of a cultural shock, right? Where you come back and you're just like, everything seems kind of off. Like, I don't know. I think that right now I'm too thirsty to explore and learn, to be stopped by anything like that, because I don't. Yeah, I think it's a very natural thing to have a cultural shock. Also, this reverse cultural shock when you come back to your home country, and I think but even Germany is diversifying, so I think that it's getting easier and easier to be in touch and to be in like international groups, and to kind of have an kind of outlet where you can, kind of un-Germanize yourself a bit.
As long as you speak German.
No.
So what are things you inform yourself on, like blogs you read, books you read? What are things which like forming your understanding of the world right now?
So right now I'm a lot just thrifting different books that are all about personal development, businesses, women and work, which is also like a really important topic, as I am a woman, and I'm reading a lot of books. I love watching TED Talks. I think that they're so cool and so inspirational. I really enjoy that. So these are, I'd say, and I mean, of course, I have my classes. I have I work in a group of like over 30 people from a couple of different countries. So we have the Netherlands and Germany, obviously. We have the Azores, we have Romania, we have Turkish, Bulgarian, we have Liechtenstein, Italy. It's a lot of, we have Aruba. So it's a lot of different people from different places. And, that's also, a little challenge sometimes, to understand each other and why people might be behaving or coming across a certain way. And so these are my main sources for inspiration and mind shaping.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to being part of your journey and seeing how you grow and how you develop as well. So where can people connect to you? Where can people find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not really on social media, but I'm on LinkedIn. That's the one space.
Cool. And thank you very much for your time. It was great talking.
Thank you for inviting me. Thanks for having me. It's been really cool. Yeah.
Cool. And see you next time. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, Jens.
Take me to another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical land, magical, magical land. To another place where the fairy tales don't end. Magical, magical.